As the Kansas City Chiefs have officially arrived in Arizona, today we will be focusing on the injury report as the Kansas City Chiefs will be missing a key offensive weapon, but they will be getting key weapons coming back on the defense and offensive side of the ball coming into this Super Bowl. But before we do get into all of that, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video as I'm going to keep you up to date on anything Kansas City Chief related that you do not want to miss out on. And without further ado, let's have some fun. Now going back to the AFC Championship game, the Kansas City Chiefs did get a magnificent win over the Cincinnati Bengals to advance to the Super Bowl. But that wasn't left in doubt with a lot of key injuries. So today, I thought why not focus on some of these injuries because now it's starting to come to light on who we may have in the Super Bowl going forward. And I'm going to start with kind of the negative, and we're going to focus on Mecole Hardman. Andy Reid earlier in the week mentioned that it looks highly unlikely that Mecole Hardman would play in this game. And as of yesterday, he was put on injured reserve, which ends his season. And now a lot of fans are thinking may have ended his Kansas City Chiefs tender. And it's so unfortunate because I really wanted to see at least Mecole come out there and show what he has on this team. And that's what I wanted throughout the whole year, honestly. And like I mentioned, it's just been very unfortunate because this was the year a lot of us thought this would be the time for Mecole Hardman to step up, specifically with the absence of Tyreek Hill. And we knew that package would be much, much more bigger for him in this offense because now Tyreek Hill scheming, you would just think would maneuver to Mecole Hardman. And it's just something we really didn't get to witness. Early on in the year, we did because he was good in the red zone packages. He still did his jet sweep packages, and he was scoring many touchdowns. He just happened to have, I don't even know what the injury was. I think it ended up being a pelvis injury, but when it first happened, we heard hip, we heard all abdominal injuries, and then pelvis. And I think at the end of the day, it ended with the pelvis injury. And you saw him even in the AFC Championship game as well. When he made that, I think it was a good kind of over the middle catch, and then he gets drilled, and then he struggled to get up. And you could just see he was grabbing in that area, and you could tell he was playing hurt, but he wanted to be on the field because he wanted to help his team advance the Super Bowl. And I believe as well, too, he was going to try to maneuver and practice all the way through this week to get there, but I don't think Coach Reid wanted to take the risk in getting him hurt. Now, like I mentioned, now a lot of Chiefs Kingdom is focusing on Mecole Hardman's future and if he will be a Kansas City Chief. And I don't really want to get too much into that right now because I want to focus on the game and the Philadelphia Eagles, and honestly next week would probably be the perfect time to do it because that is technically off-season point. But I do want to touch on a few things as well with Mecole Hardman is I would love him back in this offense. I would love to see the pairing of Kadarius Toney and Mecole Hardman on this team. It's something we didn't really get to witness. We were hoping we were going to witness it in the AFC Championship game. Unfortunately, Mecole Hardman and then Kadarius Toney got hurt too, so that eliminated that. And it would just be fun to see all that speed, all that elusiveness on the field. And it was something that was unfortunately taken away from us in the AFC Championship game. And as well, it's going to come down to Mecole Hardman is how much does he want to be in Kansas City and what kind of contract does he want and how big of a payday does he want to get. If he would have had a huge breakout year, he might have outmarketed himself out of KC, but he didn't. So he may still be an option for Kansas City moving forward. I don't want to say he has played his last snap with the Chiefs because, again, he might want to do kind of like what Juju did this year and sign a one-year deal with the Kansas City Chiefs on a prove-it deal and show the whole league he can be an elite force. And that's my main focus with this too. But also, once we dive into this offseason and we dive into the free agency, I will give you a more better perspective on all this. That's just off the type of dome thing of what I'm feeling right now is no matter where Mecole Hardman goes or if he wants to come back to the Kansas City Chiefs or if the Chiefs want him back, I believe he'll take a one-year deal and it will be a prove-it deal. And I just hope it's with the Chiefs because I would love to see him and Kadarius Toney a full offseason together and basically show this offense can take it to the next level. From here on out, we're just going to focus on the positive. There was a lot of players cleared, they're practicing, and they're ready to play. And we're going to stick with the weapons, which Justin Watson, he's been practicing, but also Kadarius Toney and Juju. They look like they're trending forward and ready to play in this Super Bowl. Kadarius Toney looks like it's official. Juju is the one where it's more questionable, but he is saying he will play. He has that lingering knee issue, and you're going to need all the weapons you can against the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's good to see that Patrick Mahomes is getting weapons loaded back in his arsenal. it's quite like, again, I don't know what 100% looks like to these players. I don't even know if a lot of these players are 100%. Probably none of them are. But if they can go out there and they can show their skill set and be there for Mahomes and the team and help win a Super Bowl, that would be great. Juju has been a presence with just his physical attributes and showing that he is a great possession receiver. And when you need another guy like that to take the pressure off of a Travis Kelce, because yes, Mahomes made his magic with the MVS, Sky Moore, and Marcus Kim, but you don't want him to have to keep relying on that week in and week out. So those weapons need to be there, specifically in Juju and as well with Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney always shows that he's a threat when he touches the football. It may be scary because every time he touches the football, he does something where it looks like he's about to tear his ACL. And that's what happened, honestly, to me, in my perspective, when he got hurt. When I saw him go down on his own, I was like, I think he tore it. But his ACLs, he may not have none, and that's why they never get hurt. But he's too shifty, he's too elusive, and he's definitely a threat in this offense too. And you can maneuver him anywhere on the field. And when you lose someone like Mecole Hardman with the speed and elusiveness, it's good to bring someone back in like Kadarius Toney because it means the offense won't miss a beat. So it's good to see that the offense is trending in the right direction. Now that we shift to the defensive side of the ball, we got huge news on L'Jarius Sneed that he did clear the concussion protocol. And that is massive because he is probably one of Spag's favorite chess pieces to put on the defense, and you need him. Yeah, the defense stood tall against the Cincinnati Bengals, but it does not show what you cannot do without L'Jarius Sneed. He needs to be on the field. And Sneed even brought to light too because an interviewer asked if he was going to basically shout out his guy. And he said no, but he did have a little wink at the end. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of plays that Spags throws out for this defense and what kind of packages they go. Of course, Sneed, you're going to see him moving all over the field. He is Spags' new Swiss Army knife. And the reason you need Sneed out there is because he is good for those corner blitzes. You could keep all the rookies out there. They have shown and they have matured that they can do man-on-man no matter who it is. Cincinnati was their biggest test. Cincinnati probably has the best arsenal as a wide receivers go, and they did their thing and they locked them down. So if they could do something like that, they're ready to man up and show out on the Super Bowl lights. So that means Sneed, you're going to have fun. You're going to try to dissect anywhere you can go, and specifically against a guy like Jalen Hurts, who one of the most mobile, if not mobile, I didn't even say that. One of the most mobile, if not best mobile quarterback in the league. I know a lot of people will take Lamar Jackson, but I mean, there's a lot of them nowadays. You got Lamar, Justin Fields, and then Jalen Hurts. Them boys know how to make something out of nothing, and if you can have someone like L'Jarius Sneed kind of dissect, be a spy, even with Willie Gay, try to eliminate all the run game you can and make the Philadelphia Eagles throw, that would be a huge advantage for the Kansas City Chiefs. So it is huge. I mean huge that L'Jarius Sneed is back. And last, but certainly not least, and this one probably ruffled some feathers, but hey, it's definitely something we got to talk about. Now, while Mecole Hardman went on IR, the Kansas City Chiefs elevated Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and it looks like he might be playing in this Super Bowl. And that rubs a lot of Chiefs Kingdom the wrong way. And just hold on there for a second, because I'm one of those guys who I do believe Clyde Edwards-Helaire needs to be active in this game, and I do believe he will see the ball. Now, here's where I'm going to say, cut it out. He is not going to get more carries than Isaiah Pacheco. Isaiah Pacheco is your lead back. Shit, he might not even get more touches than Jerick McKinnon. Also, you have seen in prior weeks as well that Jerick McKinnon hasn't been touching the ball more, which he needs to. Andy Reid needs to dial up more schemes and plays for Jet McKinnon, because in the last two playoff games, he wasn't seeing the ball like that. That needs to change. But also something we've seen as well is Ronald Jones has been mixed in this too. Ronald Jones has had like 2 or 3 carries. So I believe Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to come in, and unfortunately, I think Ronald Jones will be the inactive running back, and you let Clyde Edwards-Helaire do what Clyde Edwards-Helaire does. And honestly, a lot of people slight Clyde Edwards-Helaire because he's not the biggest back. He doesn't really have a burst, and he doesn't really have speed, and he really can't break tackles. He doesn't have vision. I know, it's all negative. But this year, They used him as a weapon in the red zone, and he had 6 total touchdowns before he got injured. And also, the Kansas City Chiefs are injured right now. So if Clyde Edwards-Helaire is healthy, he can be a weapon on this team and someone you can rely on and someone who knows this offense. Again, I am not saying Clyde Edwards-Helaire is healthy, give him 20 carries. No. Isaiah Pacheco doesn't even see the ball that much. I wish he did, and I hope he does. But if you draw 5 plays for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I'm not going to be mad at it because we're at the point in the season where we're already doing that for Ronald Jones. It shocks me I even see Ronald Jones on the field. So if you're okay with Ronald Jones being on the field, I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire should be on there too. And also, I kind of want to retract to last year as well. After Clyde Edwards-Helaire got injured, when he came back in the playoffs, I specifically remember in the Buffalo game, he was running like a different man and he was running like someone fighting for his job. If I get that Clyde Edwards-Helaire from last year's playoff, we're in good hands. And also, when your 3 running backs is Isaiah Pacheco, Jerick McKinnon, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, it's a solid group to depend on. So a lot of people are making slight saying Clyde Edwards-Helaire is back, Kansas City is going to run him and not Isaiah Pacheco. No, that is not the case whatsoever. And also, Kansas City kind of needs to see what they have with Clyde Edwards-Helaire too, because do you move on from him this offseason? Do you try to make maybe Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Isaiah Pacheco the 1-2 back? Because reality for Chiefs Kingdom and everyone in the media world too, as much as we love Jerick McKinnon, he's not getting any younger. I would love to bring him back and sign him to a 1-year deal. But also, it doesn't mean what he did this year, which was unrealistic. Can he do it again next year and give us 9 touchdowns? It's very hard to say. When you got someone like Clyde Edwards-Helaire who this is his make it or break it, prove himself or get good trade value out of him and see what you got. I've got to keep saying this. When I say prove himself, there's no way he's going to prove himself enough to say he is running back starter over Isaiah Pacheco. That is Isaiah Pacheco's job. He took a grown man's job and he's not giving it up. But Kansas City likes to do a running back by committee. And if somehow, some way, Clyde Edwards-Helaire can prove he deserves to be in that committee, I say you keep him. And like I mentioned, when he started off this year, a lot of people don't want to focus on it, but he was actually doing pretty good. Even with 6 total touchdowns, like, who knows, like, if he doesn't get hurt, he did have a trend going down, but if he doesn't get hurt, he's not giving up his job that easily too. It may have been a committee type of situation, but it wouldn't have just been focused on Isaiah Pacheco heavily as all of us wanted. So just because he's back doesn't mean he's going to be the starter, but doesn't mean he's gone either. I would say let's see what he does with his carries and let's see what he does with his touches. I don't think it'll affect the Kansas City Chiefs in any way whatsoever. And I think the CEH hate kind of needs to simmer down a little bit, because I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a play where Chiefs Kingdom's going to get excited in the Super Bowl and gives them a chance to win a game. It happens. Just look at Sky Moore. Just look at Harrison Butker. The players we kind of dislike the most end up showing out in the brightest lights. So with that, Chiefs Kingdom, I'm going to close this video out. You let me know how you're feeling going into the Super Bowl. We're getting healthy at the right time. That is such a positive. Just get me to Sunday. This feels like the longest week ever. I'm excited for this Super Bowl. But with that, I'll be checking out. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you did like this video, please give me that big thumbs up. Y'all take care. Peace.